William Faulkner was an American writer who is widely considered to be one of the greatest novelists of the 20th century. Born on September 25, 1897, in New Albany, Mississippi, Faulkner spent much of his life in Oxford, Mississippi, where he drew inspiration from the people, landscapes, and history of the South. Faulkner grew up in a family of modest means, and he was a poor student in his early years. However, he developed a love of literature and began writing at an early age. After completing high school, Faulkner briefly attended the University of Mississippi but dropped out after a few semesters. During World War I, Faulkner attempted to join the Royal Canadian Air Force, but he was turned down due to his poor eyesight. He later worked briefly in a bookstore and as a postmaster before devoting himself full-time to writing. Faulkner's early novels, including Soldier's Pay and Mosquitoes, were not well received, but he continued to hone his craft and experiment with new forms of storytelling. His breakthrough came with the publication of The Sound and the Fury in 1929, which is now considered a masterpiece of modernist literature. The novel's nonlinear narrative structure and stream of consciousness style were groundbreaking at the time and have since influenced countless writers. Faulkner went on to write several more acclaimed novels, including As I Lay Dying, Light in August, and Absalom, Absalom. His novels explored themes of race, class, and family in the American South, and his characters were often complex, flawed, and haunted by the past. In addition to his novels, Faulkner also wrote numerous short stories and essays, many of which were published in popular magazines such as The Saturday Evening Post and Harper's Bazaar. He also worked as a screenwriter in Hollywood, where he wrote the screenplay for the film adaptation of Raymond Chandler's The Big Sleep. Despite his success as a writer, Faulkner struggled with alcoholism and suffered from bouts of depression. He was known for his reclusive lifestyle and his aversion to interviews and public appearances. Faulkner's literary legacy has continued to grow in the decades since his death. His novels and stories have been translated into dozens of languages and adapted into films, plays, and television shows. His influence can be seen in the work of many contemporary writers, including Cormac McCarthy, Toni Morrison, and Richard Ford. In recognition of his contributions to American literature, Faulkner was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1949. His acceptance speech, in which he spoke about the role of the writer in society, is now regarded as a classic of literary criticism. William Faulkner died on July 6, 1962, in Oxford, Mississippi, at the age of 64. His impact on American literature and culture remains significant, and his works continue to be studied and celebrated by readers and scholars around the world.